this is On the Chopping Block, Session 0. We'll go through some stuff about the city, go through an explanation, give you guys some history, give you some context, give you an opportunity to discuss your characters, and then the overlapping features of your characters or things that you guys can have in common. And then we'll finish it off with the overview of the prologue, introductions, and into Chapter 1. So, we begin. Welcome to Luminalis, a city suspended in the sky and steeped in arcane flavor, where magic infuses not only the streets, but the very food on your plate. Luminalis is a gleaming metropolis situated atop a vast floating plateau, suspended by arcane ancient ley lines. The city is renowned for its intricate lattice of glowing streets, powered by enchanted crystals embedded in the stone. Every corner of Luminalis hums with magic seamlessly woven into its architecture, its culture, and its daily life. The layout of Luminalis reflects its identity. The city, where magic elevates every aspect of life, blends innovation and the tireless ambition of its people. Whether you're wandering the glowing streets of the Starlight District or marveling at the floating towers of the Aether Reach, Luminalis is a place where the extraordinary feels commonplace. Magic in Luminalis is not just a utility, but an art form. Artisans, architects, and even chefs are celebrated for their ability to manipulate arcane forces. High society in Luminalis has elevated the culinary arts into an enchanting spectacle where magic is not only a tool, but a core ingredient to the cuisine. In Luminalis, magic and cuisine are inseparable, not merely for flavor enhancement, but spellcraft woven into every ingredient, in preparation, and in plating. The mystical gastronomy is known as Culinaria Arcana, a respected and ancient branch of magical study that treats cooking as a living art form, capable of healing, empowering, enlightening, and sometimes even deceiving. In the glow of the lantern-lit markets and the spice-laced alleys of the Embered Quarter, a humbled restaurant called Beneath the Hearth dares to challenge the gilded elite of magical cuisine. As the down-on-your-luck misfits draw together by fate and a good meal, you find yourselves tangled in a battle between power-hungry culinary giants and a chef just trying to feed the people with fire, flavor, and maybe a little rebellion. This is the tale of secrets stirred, knives drawn, and reputations roasted. So, sharpen your wits, ready your appetite, and prepare to serve something unforgettable. So we begin with Aether Reach, which is the pinnacle of the city. The Aether Reach is a radiant district where magic is at its most refined. This is where you're going to find that the streets are paved in polished white stone, inlaid with glowing blue runes, that hum faintly with power kind of emanating from both the walls and the streets that you walk on. Towers and spires, some of them floating midair, others connected by bridges floating on light stones. Majority of the inhabitants you will find here are nobles, high-end influential merchants who control kind of like import and export, as well as all of your political leaders. If you're not living in Aether Reach, you're not going to be a person that's going to have a huge impact. So Aether Reach is kind of the pinnacle to be. Majority of the wealthy that live there will hardly ever venture down to a different level. That's just because they don't feel like it is worth descending, when here you're going to get all your elegant, refined foods and things like that. About 20% are in the top tier, the Aether Reach. So about 20% of the population. So although it is the pinnacle, there's still a healthy amount of people there. It's not just like, oh, the top 1%. It really is a good chunk of the population. Arcanists are the core of the Aether Reach. They are the political structure. There are 7 Arcanists that operate almost like judges for the entire city. Here we find a quote from Lysandra Vane: "In the lofty heights of Aether Reach, where dreams take form, and the stars feel within reach, we are reminded that Luminalis soars not by magic alone, but the vision and unity of its people. She is the High Counselor of Radiance Hall, which is basically where all of the big decisions for the city are made. To become an Arcanist, it is something that is either by bloodline or by voting. When it's kind of like a Supreme Court judge almost. You have to wait for there to be an opening before anybody can actually apply. Next, we descend to the Starlight District. The Starlight District is still fine dining, but with lots of zest and fusions and music and shows and competition. Nestled between the lofty spires of Aetherreach and the industrious charm of the Ember Quarter, the Starlight District is vibrant and it's the ever-glowing heart of Luminalis. Known for its bustling markets, arcane academies where you learn to cook, and lively cultural hubs, this tier is where the artisans, the scholars, and the merchants thrive, weaving magic seamlessly into daily life. The district earns its name from the luminescent lanterns and the enchanted streetlights that mirror the celestial constellations, ensuring that no matter the hour, Starlight never truly sleeps. In the Starlight District, every street is a stage, every word a spell, and every dream a step closer to reality. Here, magic does not just exist, it thrives, it sings, and it inspires. Soroya is the cultural preservation counselor. She's basically the one that's in charge of like all the major events. So any competition that happened, Soroya was typically involved in that. She kind of has that vibe of like inspiring and everything's wonderful, everything's awesome, everything's spectacular, similar to like the host from like Hunger Games. You know what I mean? She kind of just chalks everything up to it's the show. You know what I mean? The experiences are wonderful and they are genuine, but she tends to really like raise the bar for the entertainment value of things. I'm not sure why, but this next slide didn't change the name, but it is the Ember Quarter. The Ethereal Gardens is a place in the Aetherreach, but it didn't change it when I was changing it. Nestled at the base of Luminalis is the Ember Quarter. This is where the city's pulse beats the strongest. Unlike the opulent spires of the Aetherreach or the refined elegance of the Starlight District, the Ember Quarter is a place of grit, of fire, and relentless ambition. The streets are narrow and winding, lined with densely packed homes, bustling markets, and a rhythmic clang of the enchanted forges. The air is thick with the scent of roasting meats, sizzling oils, and the ever-present haze of smoldering coals from the forge fields, where artisans craft some of the finest enchanted metalwork in the city. Despite its humble appearance, the Ember Quarter is alive with energy. Here, tavern doors swing open to bursts of laughter, street performers weave magic into their acts, and merchants sell everything from simple charms to handmade goods. Unlike the exclusivity of upper tiers, community is the foundation of the Ember Quarter, where neighbors look out for each other and every hand contributes to the city's unseen labor. From soot and spark we rise, not to follow the light above, but to become the flame that leads the way. Nyla Shale is the voice of the forge fields. The voice is considered kind of like a foreman, basically. She speaks for the union, for all the metal workers. They also, it's filled with dwarves, gnomes, various runes craftsmen who all specialize in the mechanics, the production, the maintenance that keeps the city how it is. As far as like floating with the ancient ley lines and things like that. It still takes quite a bit to power the city, so a lot of these artisans, these blue-collar workers as they would call them, are still very powerful magic weavers. They just tend to gear that towards a living rather than a luxury. And now we will move into some fun character stuff. Actually, real quick, maybe we'll actually go to So we'll go actually to page 4 before we get into characters, because I think it would be good to talk more about the city and stuff so you guys have a feel in case you want to change something about your character. So, Luminalis, the origins are steeped in legend, blending history, magic, and a touch of mystery. Scholars and storytellers alike have debated its founding for centuries, but the prevailing tale goes as follows. Long ago, before Luminalis floated above the world, the region was a sprawling, desolate plain racked with violent magical storms. These storms were the remnants of a long-forgotten war between powerful archmages who sought dominion over the weave of magic itself. The land was left barren, uninhabitable, and riddled with dangerous Leyline surges. Legend speaks of 7 extraordinary mages, each a master of one of the schools, who came together to end the chaos. They are known as the 7 Luminaries. And you can see they're listed there with all the different various types of magic. The Luminaries combined their powers in a ritual known as the Grand Ascension, channeling the chaotic magic of the ley lines into a single point. This act lifted a massive section of the land into the sky, stabilizing it carefully with balanced magic. This floating land became the foundation for Luminalis. At the center of their work was the Corelight Spire, a towering crystal monument constructed to anchor the city to the ley lines and regulate its magic. The spires not only stabilize the city, but they also act as a primary source of energy, ensuring that the Luminalis floats and thrives. Now, there's various interpretations as it continues. Luminalis became a beacon for the world. It became kind of like the city that was like to set the stage for what all other cities should become. The problem is there weren't those luminaries to do that for every single city. So instead of becoming a blueprint of what the world should be, it became a standalone Mount Olympus to the rest of the world. Now, there's some modern interpretations of how much of that is absolutely true, and some of it they have documented, some of it they don't. And so you have the divine theory. Some believe that the 7 luminaries were chosen by divine forces to create Luminalis as a sanctuary for magic and art. The others, the Great Gamble interpretation, skeptics argue that the Grand Ascension was a desperate experiment that succeeded only by chance, and that the city could fall if the ley lines were ever destabilized. And then Lost Truths. Whispers of a forbidden lore suggest that the Luminaries may have made a dark pact with an otherworldly force, leaving Luminalis with a hidden curse or a debt yet to be paid. And so you do have these kind of fanatical people. The end is near. This guy's going to come back, and his true servants are going to be safe, but everyone else is going to. They're kind of the outcasts of the city, just because there's no evidence to suggest that, but they still wildly believe it anyway. And then you have kind of your cultural breakout on page 6, kind of talking about all the different races. Halflings, only 5%, so it's not like they're huge here in the city, but they do exist. So you will find small sub-communities and things like that. Elves making up 25%. And at this point, being of a goblin descent, you would probably be in a fraction of a percent that exists within the city. So a very rare. So it won't be uncommon necessarily to either be misjudged or underestimated, because there's not that presence there.
I feel definitely as a chef too is not the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which and that's the thing, with your character, as far as having him be a chef who's been at kind of a high point. You know that your uncle's he did something to kind of pave the way for goblins. So, and we can kind of get into that. 7 and 8 really just talk about the city, more about the city as far as specific locations that I've already started working on. The main one I want to draw your attention to is on page 7. The Arcane Gourmand. Everyone knows this restaurant. It is the pinnacle restaurant. They have won every competition. They are still always named number 1 as far as for the best restaurant in Luminalis. And we're talking for decades that it has won that. As far as in the Starlight District, points of interest, the Culinary Conservatory, This is basically like your culinary college. People can still learn it outside of that, but this is where majority of people go to get their degrees, to learn, and having your degree from here definitely makes it easier in Aether Reach to get a job. The Mana Market, which is kind of like a bazaar, it definitely has kind of like a Middle Eastern feel to it. Lots of silk canopies and things like that. Temporary restaurants, pop-up restaurants with like vibrant colors and things like that are very common in the Mana Market. And then the Luminous Forum, which is kind of like a big, huge center stage, so to speak, that you would see. And that's actually what you see here in this image. That right there is the Luminous Forum. So that's kind of like a big area where they'll do competitions at center stage, and everyone will kind of gather around to watch, whether it's, you know, a response to some crazy dish they've made, or if they have people come up and try like little samples and then kind of share their experience. Outside of that, let's jump into some characters.
Oh.
So first up, we have Ren.
It's actually not Ren anymore.
It's
Oh, you
not Ren
changed your
anymore.
name.
Did you change it to Frenchie?
Yeah, no, it's
It's embroidered on his shirt.
Well, I thought that was a nickname.
yeah, well, where's my phone?
Leave it inside.
Skip to the next person.
Okay.
Okay, so Savora, or what is her full name? Lady Thalandra Evercast. So Thalandra. So she is an Eladrin, and so her family is like a noble family from the Feywild, so she's not even like from this realm, I guess, or whatever. So she's born to a noble Eladrin house in the Feywild. She was expected to uphold elegance, grace, and refinement, and focus on, you know, magic, because all of her family was like of magical backgrounds. But her true passion lay in food, tasting it, talking about it, and sharing it with the world. She met a wandering chef that inspired her to leave behind the rigidity of her family and everything. And she wanted to instead follow her dream of experiencing cuisine from across the realms. She now works as a food vlogger, or she's trying to, using her messaging orb to capture reviews, reactions, and interviews with chefs and patrons. However, behind her cheerful on-camera persona lies a simmering rage. She has a very short temper, especially when dealing with food snobs, bad service, or anyone who disrespects a meal. When she's pushed too far, she enters...
Just to be clear, like if somebody just like threw out some leftovers or something like that, would that be enough disrespect?
If someone threw out leftovers, I don't think she'd know, because she wouldn't be like out in the kitchen. It's just like if somebody...
Like if they left food on their plate then, and didn't take it home or something like that.
No, I think it would be more like if she knew the food was good at a place that she patroned a lot, and like someone started being a Karen, she would freak out on them. Yeah. So, let's see, where was it?
These are good ideas for me. I'm just.
Okay. So.
Hates Karens.
Hates
Karens. I just wanted to make sure that I could
She
add
wants
that
people to respect food for what it is, so she doesn't take it lightly, and so when other people do it, it makes her mad. So she refuses to wield traditional weapons because she's a food vlogger. She doesn't need weapons.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the city that don't carry weapons.
So instead, she just...
It's a very safe city.
Yeah, she just uses whatever she can get a hold of.
Back.
So silverware, if she does happen to get a sneak peek into a kitchen, if somebody makes her mad, she picks up a pan, you know, whatever.
Improvised weapon.
Yeah, that's what she specializes in. Her prized possession is the Trident Fork. So it's a memento from the chef. So I'm kind of trying to evolve that more eventually, but it's probably someone who visited the Feywild for whatever reason from around here, so she heard about it, and so when she went to adventure, she came to this place.
Yeah,
So
it'd be great if there was some kind of like jolly fellow who just like
Yeah.
kind of like showed up one day and was like in like what was that something in Dungeons where they're like cooking all the
Delicious in Dungeon?
Yeah, Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious
yeah,
in Dungeons. The dwarf guy, like that
Yeah.
guy for me is like the epitome of just like a jolly fellow who knows how to cook anything, you know. So
Yeah.
somebody like that.
I think it's
coming.
gonna be something like that, and that's the reason why she gets along so well with Mima is because it was like some old chef guy that like just wandered in and then like somehow found them, and he brought really cool magical food to
Right.
her family, which I think might be something she sort of experienced, but they didn't care as much because they're like, we're more important, and didn't like appreciate the food as much
Yeah.
as she did, and he like taught her how to. So I think like when she was
like
really,
to really
little,
like savor it,
yeah, like it'd be like the kind of like
swishing around. I'm just kidding.
hiding out in the kitchen from my responsibilities, and then like getting to know this old guy that loved food, and
Yeah, it could be like maybe he worked in the kitchen, like he
Yeah.
came from a distant place,
and then
worked in the kitchen,
because
and
he
you
was like,
just
I'm here
found it,
now, I
like-
need a job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why, like, they become close and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if you want me to.
Well, just
do
like
all of it.
personality type stuff. I like
Okay.
the hates Karens is great. Respecting foods and things like that. That's very important.
Yeah, and her trident's gonna be her weapon of choice if needed, but she'll use anything. It's a fork.
Yeah.
But it's shaped like a trident. So, she's an Eladrin, so her physical features depend on her mood, but she's usually in autumn. So she's got red hair, and she's got like golden orangey eyes, and she's very like trendy. I don't know what would
Fashionable?
like fashionable, but she's like, she kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's the newer Magic School Bus where it's Miss Frizzle's like sister or whatever, and
She's
I've
like
seen
hip.
pictures of it, but I've
yeah,
never
and she's
actually
like
watched it.
she's like Miss Frizzle but more hip, so she
like
wears
an
cute
influencer
stuff,
dress,
but it's
dresses.
whimsical cute,
Yeah.
you know, so like that kind of thing. And she likes to have her stuff go and get like embroidered with like food or like silverware, and like because she's vlogging, so it's like a part of her thing. And so overall, like vibe. So she looks more like a socialite than a warrior. So you'd never know that she like just gets all like swole
Berserk.
and like attacks everybody. So I wrote on here so she looks more like a socialite than a warrior until she's flipping tables and launching into a brawl with a steak knife in hand. So she's normally bubbling, charismatic, always talking and entertaining people. But her anger's unpredictable, so she gets mad like she has like no fuse. It's just 0 to a million. But like if she's like into it, like the meal and then her vlogging, if someone interrupts her, it's like she's got no process in that. It's just like everything's off the table and she freaks out. So, yeah, throwing soup bowls, hitting people with frying pans, all that. So that's pretty much it. She loves food and wants her entire life to be about food and wants to share it with everybody else. How magical it is.
All right, well, let's head back to Frenchie.
Okay. So for Frenchie, his full character name is Francis Fizzlegear -Topwell. He's a little 3-foot tall goblin with red hair, long red hair. He grew up in a family that like his ancestors helped build possibly the spiral, help construct it. So they've just kind of had money for a long time. They're all just tinkerers and inventors. And at a young age, he decided his grandmother showed him how to bake, and he decided to start cooking. But his father, since he comes from 5 sisters, that he was apparently the only one that could take up the family business or whatever. But he didn't want to, and was disowned. But thankfully, his uncle from his mother's side, that's where he gets the hyphen Topwell. He took his uncle's name. He stayed with him, and actually his cousin from his uncle's son is actually running the company for his father in his place instead.
swapped
They
sons?
basically swapped.
Basically swap-
They kind of swapped sons in a way, except for his son's not disowned like I am. So I live with my uncle, and he worked at the Arcane Gourmand. So he was big in the goblin, like he's first goblin to ever make it up to the higher cities as
Like
a
maybe
chef.
you have clippings of like magazine
Yeah,
articles
like he
of
was-
him,
he was-
rising star.
Huge rising star, and because of that, I got a scholarship kind of to the culinary school
Yep.
through him. But there was a higher figure was believed he tried to poison him, so he was sent to prison. And because of that, I lost my scholarship, which then sent me to why slowly spiraling, trying to make my way, and that's
Catch a
where
branch.
catch a branch, and that's why I ended
You
up
don't
with
hit the ground.
with
Yeah.
Mima and so.
Because otherwise, you're telling that story, and I'm sure people would be like, "What? I don't understand. How did you end up here?"
You
It's
just
a long story.
a lot of you think I'd have money? No, it's kind of bad with money. For like mannerisms and stuff, I did put them, but I'll go over them. He's very OCD in his kitchen because his uncle taught him to be a very like neat and meticulous person. So he's very meticulous when he's cooking. He's wakes up super early to always go and get the freshest ingredients and herbs. And one thing I'm gonna try and do my best is I'm gonna try and say every dish name just a little wrong, because he just a little incorrectly. Because I already do that anyways with a lot of stuff. For like pain points, so kind of the same with Mandy, except for he hates people wasting any kind of food. So any kind of food thrown on the ground or like not finishing a meal kind of thing, seen as a waste. So he's very adamant about that. Or if people let food go rotten with people being hungry, he's very makes him mad. And then his stuff, like his utensils, don't touch them. He's not an angry person. He
It's
just
okay
has
to
a
put
temper.
them in your hair, but it's not okay for anybody else to touch.
Yeah, it's not a
has
germ
his-
thing.
He
It's
probably has his space in the apartment.
It's
that's just
literally
like,
not a germ
His
thing.
box.
It's more just like
They're
I went
right.
for my knife that's supposed to be right here, and it was
And it
moved,
wasn't
and I'm
there.
just in that, and it
And
would
that
just
cost me time.
it
and I
cost
was
him
2
extra
seconds
time.
late.
Something could have burned a little
Yep.
too much, and it's just he's
Yep.
very. And then clowns. I don't know why. I just think funny. But he just hates clowns for no reason.
Do clowns exist here?
Oh yeah.
Clowns exist
Yeah.
everywhere.
Clowns exist in every.
And that may or may not be an
Everywhere.
encounter.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh gosh.
You guys may be on your way to a very important
circus.
mission when suddenly a clown is like, and it's just like moving closer in the crowd. Every time you
you're
glance
just
over, he's
incapacitated.
standing there staring closer at you.
Okay, but question: are clowns in this universe a different race dressed up as a clown, or are they their own race?
It would be different races dressed up as clowns.
Okay.
Likely a half orc, so he's really big and like
Yeah.
with the big red nose thing.
Terrifying.
Orc.
So
Scary
I put some fun desires for him to do. He's learning Elvish. He
Oh, that's
doesn't
cool.
know Elvish.
Am I tutoring you?
You can be, if you'd like. Because I also put that he's like shy around like elf girls.
Yeah.
He thinks they're cute, and he's a very shy guy. So he's learning Elvish.
But I'm like your sister, because I
Yeah,
am your
but you
Yeah.
sister,
have
and we
fun
lived
pickup
together.
lines
Exactly.
that just go horribly wrong with Elvish. She like feeds you like an Elvish thing to say.
Exactly.
Does not work out. You just fumble over the words.
Yeah, and he's trying to prove his uncle's innocence. Feed the poor and hungry with magical food that's usually reserved for the higher class. He thinks everybody should have access to the cool magical food. And then he wants to make omurice.
He wants to make what?
perfect the omu rice, the like rice you like cut over the top and it like bleh,
Oh.
the egg goes like
Oh, the
bleh.
omelet.
The omelet kind of rice stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
with the egg.
With the, like the,
With
with
the
the
eggs
weird
and
like
the
runny
gravy.
egg. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god. I want to make it, so I was like, depending on how PG we're keeping it, I put loses virginity as a desire of his.
You
So-
just change it to get an elf girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
That would be fine.
Okay. His for fear wise, he's terrified of people not liking his food. Like he's really self-conscious about it.
So does he like hide away in the kitchen, or is he like
No, he's like as soon
Glance.
like every time someone eats his food, he's just kind of like
peeking over a corner?
make it
peering
just
over
he
a
wants to make
food?
sure that
Yeah.
that they enjoy it.
But he's not vocal about that. He's just like stalker
What
stuff.
No,
happens if they don't like your food?
It's
How does that affect
It's
you?
more like I take it more personally.
So you get like, do you like?
He'll go and cook it 10 times in a row.
Like, I would read- I would-
feel
yeah,
like,
be a
oh,
lazy
it's
would
good,
read-
but it was a little dry.
I would
You're
even,
like,
like-
10 times in a row to make it not as dry.
Because that's why I'm watching. If they like, I'll literally go back and remake it and then bring it out another dish to them and like swap the plate and be
slightly
like, this is
different.
better. Like
Try
if
this.
it's,
This
it's
is
the
better.
same. It's the same dish.
I'm not done.
But like this is better. Like I don't know what is wrong, but it must have been something like. So that's he's insecure
Your
about
nose
it. Even
crinkled,
like
so I have to
Yeah.
change it.
exactly.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna learn some fun fantasy parodies songs because I found this is one of his de-stresses. So I'm just be like, coming. Yeah.
Singing while you're cooking.
He has his low constitution, so he's like in every chef. He goes out and has his little cigarette breaks. But yeah, we talked about he just kind of gets sick after one little hit of his cigarette, and then he has to put
or
it
he
down.
goes to try things and like he could taste everything in there because his stomach is so sensitive.
Yeah, and then I have I picked one thing. The magical item I picked is when I drink alcohol, I can regain health. But I have a low constitution, so I'm gonna get
So the
hammered.
balancing
But I'll
act
gain
of
health.
that is gonna be really
But I'll heal.
He is a fantastic dancer. One of those things. Growing up with a lot of sisters and stuff, he learned to dance and was always the practice partner.
So like fancy dancing
Like
too.
actual
so like
proper
he could go in a
dancing.
ball and like do proper
Fancy
dance.
dancing.
Yep. I think that he's not a competitive person. He just wants it to be good.
So it's more like self competition.
It
Like the
is.
guy that plays golf by himself
Yeah.
just to beat his own score.
Exactly. Meticulously organized. Pineapple on pizza. 100%. And
Is he a purist or does he believe in fusions? Like, is he the guy that's like, no, you gotta follow the recipe to a T, or is he the one that's like, it may have not been done before, and so it's worth trying?
he's the like food whisperer. Like he can he'll taste it and then like his food speaks to him of what it needs,
Okay.
kind of thing.
So if he tries somebody else's recipe and realizes this is good, but it needs more moon
He can
blossom,
like
you will be
yeah,
like,
break it down and
even
like
though that breaks the recipe, it's still for the good of the food.
exactly. With just a quick question of like world
Yeah.
stuff for Matt, for the way food affects people.
Yep.
Is it literally just in their head, like Ratatouille style?
Nope.
Is it going to be like
So
the
on
food
page,
has like
yeah, on page 3, I listed some examples just of different things. I also have more than this, but these were just kind of like fun ones, you know? These are things that like you could see like real effects, but then I can talk through some whimsical ones. So you can see like a soup that removes confusion, or a haze. Drinkers often speak truth without realizing it. So by eating the soup, you have soup with your mother-in-law, you slowly start being more honest about how you feel about your mother-in-law. So it's like a real lasting effect. But you could also have like this void root tartar, right? Said to reveal one's fate or steal it entirely. It's banned in many districts because of the effect. So you're gonna find that magic has a very real effect. Some of them are more telepathic experiences, psychedelic kind of style, but there are very real, tangible ones, which is why your uncle, who at the Arcane Gourmand, you know, their experience, it's always pleasant. It's always, they never do anything. So the fact that that happened to the food was such a like, that never happened, you know. So, but it could be as you're eating it, little tiny fireworks, like the tiniest little fireworks just emit from your ears.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's fun and it's whimsical. It doesn't matter.
I just want to just make sure
Yep.
when I want to put like flair
No.
into like a
Yep.
dish and something, just so.
100% it can be real and physical, or it can actually all be in the head.
Because I was, my first thought was, I don't know if you've seen anything from, there's a show called Food Wars. It's an anime. But there's a lot of like food competitions in it. But every time they have food, it's very like overly dramatic, sensual effect, like kind of food. So I didn't know if that was the kind of effect, but it was because that's more in their head kind of like effect.
But there
like
are
this-
ones in your head. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, like for when we get into Mandy's character, she's going to be using her scrying orb, and she's taking a bite of this crepe that's supposed to show versions and variations of you in the multiverse. So it's kind of like all of a sudden you have like spider or fly eyes, and it's like little screens of different versions of you to kind of be like, oh, that's interesting. I never, you know, and that the experience lasts, it's like a lingering effect. About 60 seconds after you're done eating, it typically wears off. Unless it's like, sometimes it could be like for the next hour, you have fire resistance. Why? Just because, you know, because each ingredient has magic imbued, then there's magic weaved into it while you're cooking, and then the plating itself can have magic. So
I feel like with all the things that it can do, it could definitely cause problems because some of it could be
abused.
people, yeah, what people
Right.
want, like especially that forbidden whatever one.
Yeah, so that's where, yeah, stuff like that you
Or like if
don't
there's one
find
that
as
like
often.
makes you not be in pain. Like you know how many people in any
Oh, yeah.
world would
Yep.
be like, I want that food.
There are-
And
there
there's
are
probably
people
so
that
many
like that-
people
that are
in
like
the
that,
Ember
yep.
district that can't get it.
Yeah.
And we're
But
like,
keep in
why
mind,
can't
some
they
of the
have
stuff
that?
is very expensive. So
Yeah.
the greater the experience, or the greater the physical effect, like there are people who it's like, oh, I lost a limb. Will you eat this? You literally grow a limb for 24 hours.
That would
like-
be so sad because
I
then it
know.
leaves in your
I
life.
know.
Now you gotta keep eating it.
Now you got to keep eating it. Yeah.
Wow.
So
So
it's,
many people are going bankrupt in this world.
Yeah.
all right. Last but not least, Meemaw.
Meemaw. Okay, so I did not create as detailed of a backstory as you guys. Thing is, Meemaw is mostly there for the vibes and whatever she
What a
can
vibe.
steal. And when it comes to her backstory, nobody really knows where she came from. And the truth is that she's not even sure anymore because she has
lied to
told so many
herself.
lies and traveled to so many places that she doesn't even.
She doesn't
She's
even
not
know.
sure which memories are true
got a
and which the
little
ones
bit
that
of
she made
dementia.
up. She vaguely remembers living in the countryside with a simple farmer family and hating her life. And then she just set out on her own in her late teens and went wherever the heck she wanted and did whatever the heck she wanted.
What brought her to the city?
The money,
The money.
all the
Yeah.
riches in the two upper.
It is definitely like the
districts.
Mount Olympus of
Yes.
the realm. So everyone's like, you know.
Yes. She steals whatever she wants. I did give you one character design, but I can't remember if we wanted to keep that secret or not.
I think it'd be fun to let that one come out
All
organically.
right, then I won't say that
Yeah.
one. She does carry with her, her magic item is a bag that produces like the best chocolate chip cookies you've ever tasted in your life. And it would be great if they could have a little bit of a magic ability that would like give people a disadvantage on saving
Perception.
throws for
Being
like if she's
charmed.
trying to
Yeah.
deceive them or persuade them.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Like it just
Here,
makes
son,
their
have a
mood
cookie.
so much better that they're
Yes.
just more like palatable to things that normally would
Yes.
offend them. They're like, whatever. you
Yeah.
know? So.
But that's all that the bag does is just make those cookies.
Yep.
Yeah. And as she is sneaking around stealing things, she doesn't necessarily rely on stealth. She does. That's like, you know, the first thing that she tries to do is sneak, but her real strength is persuasion. She acts like a little old lady that is
know what
lost
she's
and doesn't
doing.
really know what she's doing, and she'll walk up and be like, "Are you my grandson?"
Lady, you can't take that statue.
con
That's
artist.
not yours.
Yeah.
What? I thought this was my child.
That solid jade statue is not your child. Oh!
I was
Oh,
mistaken.
good doggy.
Oh. So she's a halfling rogue, but she's an elderly
Yes.
halfling rogue.
Yes,
so that's
an
kind of
elderly halfling
interesting
rogue.
to see.
She's in good shape
Yeah.
because she lives a very active lifestyle.
But she wears layers for sure to
Yes.
help with
Like
the
she's-
hiding.
Yeah.
Feeble.
She acts
acts
like
old
she's
and
feeble.
frumpy, but she's
She
really-
walks around hunched over and hobbling, but you put her in a fight and her back is straight as a stick.
All of a sudden,
And-
just like stands up straight and like.
And
what?
underneath all those layers, she is packing a lot of weapons.
So when I said the city's very safe, most people don't carry weapons. Mima collects them
Safe
all.
from everyone but
Every-
Mima.
Mima is always back.
Mima's gonna have just like drop all the extra clothes and she's gonna have like a 12 pack and just
Right.
like grip.
Like,
She's let's
like
do
that guy
this.
from Avatar, the Earthbender.
Yeah,
guy. Like,
yeah, the old, yeah,
The
you're
king.
Yeah.
you're King Boomy under there. You're just like,
It's just like
Exactly.
that was the greatest like M. Night Shyamalan moment
Yeah.
of Avatar was when he did that. And you're like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
to clarify, that's not
yeah.
the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
No,
Just
no.
the twist
that's
that he
true, actually.
created.
But the
didn't
twist
I was
is
gonna
about
say
the fact
you would have
there's,
been
like,
you would have been
connection.
destroyed if that got out.
I meant M. Night Shyamalan
Definitely.
twist, like Sixth Sense twist,
I-
not like the
That's what we
Avatar
call
that he ruined.
twists in movies.
This is what we call twists in
He
movies.
literally
He did
ruined
not.
that live action. That was
Yeah.
so bad.
She is a pathological liar. I imagine her being a little bit like Phoebe Buffay, where if people ask her questions about her life, she will pull out the most random,
It'll be different every
unhinged
time.
story. But like Phoebe's telling the truth. And
Yeah.
some of Mima's stories might be true, but some of them might not be. So
So does she kind of disguise truth in the lies, knowing that most people won't
Yeah.
be able to tell the difference anyway?
Yes.
So she'll feel like she's being very honest with
Yeah.
the group, even though it's a total lie.
So is she honest with us?
Mostly.
Okay. I just
Somewhat.
yeah.
Probably not
It's-
when it comes
it's a
to
habit.
her.
Do we know your
history,
actual name?
But like
Do you
we
know your
are
actual name?
Mabel Marmalade
Mabel
is
Mar.
probably my real name.
Okay. That sounds made up.
Else, it's her
Probably
persona.
doesn't remember
like,
her real
Okay.
name.
That's the longest.
She's given too many fake names.
That's the longest. That's
remembers
the
what's
that's the
important,
Phoebe
like
Buffay
how
or
to
Gina
feel.
Phalange.
Yeah.
Like,
Gina
Yes.
Phalange.
And her catchphrase is, "You're my favorite grandchild," and she uses it on everyone.
You use that on us.
Yes.
you guys
Regularly.
you tell each of them they're your favorite.
Yes.
They never talk
Without
to each
us in the room.
Yeah.
Like never
Exactly.
in the same room.
My grandma does this, where if she's alone with you, she'll be like, "Don't tell the others, but you're my favorite."
To all of you.
Yes.
Oh,
To all of us.
But don't tell the other.
Yep.
Oh,
so
And
you guys
by the
did just tell
way,
each other.
This little WoW pin that she has on her shirt is a
It's a
real
mom.
pin that my grandma has.
Yeah, you
And it says it's a mom pin that she wears upside down. To say
Yeah, that's what I
wow.
was. I think that's what I was thinking it was. Yeah, it was a mom
Yeah.
pin. That's cute.
And that wraps up this episode of Weekend D&D on the Chopping Block. Thank you to all our listeners for joining us on this wild culinary adventure. And a special thanks to our supporters. You're the reason we get to keep cooking up these stories. We hope you enjoyed the chaos and the laughs. Be sure to join us next time as our party faces whatever the kitchen, or the streets of Luminalis, throws at them next. Until then, may your rolls be high, your spice be bold, and your weekends be full of adventure.